and instructor?
About to intermediate and newcomer students, students at home. This is okay, but we do have room to do more than one row. So, please feel free to use the space. It's something about this room, everyone wants to just line up in the very back. So
There is no back row.
correct, there is no back row. Okay, so brand new rotation, new unit. We're going to start moving form. Most of the students in here are intermediate, but a reminder, this is a beginner class, and we're going to teach this as very beginner. So hopefully as intermediate students, and whether you're here at home, you will find something to work on. So, and the answer is there is something to work on. So if you don't think there is, try again. All right. All right, let's begin with some breathing. Place your feet comfortable distance apart, hands on the lower abdomen with your lips lightly sealed and teeth gently meshed together. Allow your eyes to close. And begin focusing on deep, relaxed breathing. As you breathe in, feel your abdomen go out. And as you breathe out, feel it come back in. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. Be relaxed. With each breath, begin to imagine a cascade of relaxation flowing down the body from the top of your head all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. Feel your face and jaw relax. Neck and shoulders relax. Chest and upper back relax. Let your shoulders and your arms feel heavy. Stomach and lower back, relax. Feel the flow of relaxation through your waist into your hips, through your thighs and the backs of your legs. Allow your knees to soften. Feel your calf muscles relax, your ankles relax, and the bottoms of your feet relax. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. Be relaxed. And the next time that you breathe out, go ahead and lower your hands and open your eyes. And even though we're not doing Neikong as a unit, we always start with a little bit of embracing horse. So separate your feet to shoulder width apart. Turn your toes in slightly so the outside edges of your feet become parallel. Bend those knees, round them out. Sit back, circle the arms back, circle the arms forward. And they'll be even. There you go. And continue focusing on deep, relaxed breathing. Just hold it for about a minute. Soften your knees a little bit. There you go. Yeah, just so you've got a good sense of rounding, like we talked about, so you can actually soften yours just a little bit. Very good. This is going to get a little far out for your posture. So I like the up. I see the up, but then you relax them in just a tiny bit more. Good. Relax. Soften. Soften. Gravity. Let the gravity Good job. Good to see you. Very good. Good, good, good. And like I said, we hold this for about a minute or so, up to 3 minutes in beginner class. And for those of you familiar with NACOM, and particularly if you're an intermediate student, as we work on the form, see if you can find that rounded connectedness that you've cultivated in your NACOM in your moving form practice. So you could look at the moving form as moving NACOM. So they're not separate concepts. Hold on for about 30 more seconds. And if ever this starts to feel strenuous, it's completely okay to come out of it, relax, recenter, and come back into it. NACOM is not designed to be forced. So if you have any break, take it. 3 more seconds. And release. Straighten the legs, lower the hands, slowly circle the arms up, inhale. And press the palms down to exhale. I saw the mirrors go in on Friday, but this is my first class teaching with them. I'm like, oh, look, there I am. I don't have to have the tiny thumbnail. Like, am I? How's that going? So, yay. All right, so day 1, class 1, first section of the Young 108. So that means it's a 108 move form. In beginner class, we go over about the first 21 moves of that. Today, we're going to work on maybe the first 2 or 3, max. And I'm going to do a lot of talking through it of some of the foundations that we should be working towards as in Tai Chi in general. As a very brand new student, focus on the feet. Like nobody here is ever going to look at you funny if your arms are completely by your side and you're like they'll be like, good job. Yeah, so focus on the feet first. Everyone wants to focus on the hands. The magic is in the hands, but the foundations are all in the feet. Okay? So, like I said, just the first couple of moves today, and I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about centering yourself and breathing and sort of the mental space that we'd like to try to get and cultivate when we do Tai Chi. So, let's first begin. Stand with your feet together, hands down by your side. And I know in our daily lives, it may feel luxurious and not normal to just take a couple of minutes to center yourself. So just stand here, take a few deep breaths, feel your feet on the floor, engaged, relaxed, but you feel, your whole foot on the surface of the floor. Shoulders nice and heavy. Feel where you are in gravity, in your space. And just take a moment to experience that. Breathe softly and relaxed. And the first move is called step left, which is really great because that's exactly what you're doing. So you're going to sink down and you're going to step left, about shoulder width apart. And then here is another centering point. So you're going to, now that your feet are separate, again, you're going to reacclimate yourself and feel that connection to the floor. And let's do that again. So feet together. Sink down a little and step left. And then sink down a little more. And here, in the lower body, you should feel kind of like you do with embracing horse. Maybe not as extreme, but it's that same rooted, knees bent, rounded out, pelvis tucked, but my upper body is relaxed. And the next thing we're going to do is called commencement. And what you're going to do is you're going to allow the arms to float up, leading with the wrists. Fingers stretch. Sink the wrists, sink the elbows, lower the hands down by your side. And reset from the beginning. Sink down, step left. Sink down a little more. Allow the arms to float up, leading with the wrists. Fingers stretch, sink the wrists, sink the elbows, lower the hands to your side. Anybody in here has done this many, many times. Okay, step left. Good, commencement. So allow the arms to float up, leading with the wrists, fingers stretch. Sink wrists, sink elbows, lower the hands by your side. One more time, just like that. Very nice. Step left. Commencement. Good. Release. So you guys can stay where you are. I'll demonstrate facing the front so you can see it. And I'm going to give a couple little points, hopefully at a variety of skill levels. So without any commentary. Okay, so Tai Chi has a lot about, not a lot, almost all of it is based on where your weight is on which foot and at what time. This is a very good move to focus on that because you're just literally stepping to the side a little bit, but that concept is there throughout. And it gets more complicated, obviously, as you're stepping and moving, but the sooner you can start to identify where your weight is, the more sense that it'll make. You hear that Tai Chi is really good for balance and for fall prevention. It's not magic. It's good for that because it teaches you where your weight is, and also it teaches you to be choosy of where you put your foot versus, you know, I have to put my foot down, and it may or may not be safe ground, in which case I could fall. So it just trains the body's sense of being able to be more choosy with where you step. And it starts here. So even though my feet are together, you guys can practice this with me if you like. So my feet are evenly weighted on the floor. I feel 50-50 about. Now in order to step left, I gotta load up my right foot a little bit. I have to put more weight in my right foot so that I can free this foot to step left. And then as I set this foot down, I'm gonna rebalance that weight. Does that make sense to everybody? Let's try that a few times. So, because when we just step left, we can just step left, but we're not really thinking about where our weight is. But Tai Chi is a little more deliberate than that. So I'm here, I'm evenly weighted, you can try it together. I'm not gonna move, but you're gonna load up that right foot. So that, and this foot is what we call empty. And then I can reach it out. Yep, very good. And then I rebalance that way. Now, for the next move, it starts in the feet. This is an advanced concept, so if it's too difficult, don't worry about it, but I'm planting seeds. You'll hear me say that a lot. So I'm gonna pressure the balls of my feet just a little bit. And that, if you imagine that your body's connected, that pressuring the balls of the feet is what generates the arms floating up. And then I get to about here, and then I pressure my heels, and that's what generates the arms shifting down. So, Tai Chi, you practice that a little bit, just keep shift, shift. Tai Chi is about connecting your movements so that your body is moving as a whole versus my feet are doing one thing, my legs are doing another, my arms are doing another. It's all, yeah, very good. And in fact, this is a Qigong move. You could spend 30 minutes at a time doing commencement. It's good Tai Chi. But I'd like for you guys to get in the habit of feeling the movement generate from your feet and carry through up into your arms. There's a concept of upper follows lower in Tai Chi. That's advanced. It's one of the 10 important points. But this is an example of that. It starts in the feet, and then it generates the arms, and then the feet change their shift, and then the arms come down. All right? Any questions about that so far?
Kelly,
Yes, sir.
when you're coming up with the hands
Uh-huh.
and you shift it, you're feeling it in your ball of your foot, is there any weight shift with that? Or is it just kind of a pressing with my feet down?
So, that's a good question. First of all, I don't let the heels come up. So I keep my feet completely on the floor. But, practice this a little bit right now. Like stay with your feet in one spot, and then just practice shifting the weight of on your different parts of your feet. So like I could be standing here, but my weight's on my heels, now the weight's more on my toes. I can be on the outside edges or the inside edges. Like my feet are malleable, you know, like there's a fluidity that if I allow myself to. So I would say my feet stay connected, but I feel that little bit of pressure towards the front of the foot, towards the back of the foot. But I'm not shifting my weight so much, because if I do that too much, I'm automatically tipping forward. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate while I'm here the next couple of moves, and we're going to work our way into them. So step left. Everyone here is doing a great job of how far left do you step? Well, if I'm really rooted on this foot, there's only one answer to that. Otherwise, I feel like I have to do weird things with my feet. So everyone here looks correct. That's absolutely correct. It's about shoulder width apart. And then rebalance. And then there's commencement. And then the next two moves, we're going to mostly focus on this one, it's called ward off right. And then from here, we're going to walk through it, is ward off left, which we will probably preview by the time we get to the end of it. Yeah, and I'm facing you. So whenever I'm facing you, it's probably better to just watch, because it's mirrored and it gets all messed up. So this is so you guys can see the magic with the hands, and then when I follow through, you'll be able to match me exactly. So, and I have eyes in the back of my head now that we have mirrors. I can see everything. All right, so let's practice, and we'll add on that ward off left. So sink down, step left. Really feel where your feet are, and as this foot comes down, it glues. It's like adhered, engaged. Now, commencement. Allow the arms to float up, leading with the wrists. Fingers stretch, sink wrists, sink elbows, lower the hands by your side. Now again here, focus mostly on the feet. I'm going to shift all that weight onto my left foot so that my right foot feels light. And I'm going to turn, keep this foot where it is, and I'm going to turn to the right, and I'm going to pick up the toes, so I pivot on the heel. And my hands are basically going to form a circle with the hands, right hand on top. Huh? Let's try that again. So we've done our feet here, we do commencement. Now, all the weight shift, I'm making it, when I'm doing it, you're not going to see this, but I'm doing that so that you can really see the shift. So all my weight is here, and I'm going to turn to the right, pivoting on the right heel, form a circle with the hands, right hand on top. Very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Release. Yes, sir.
How much of a circle?
How much of a circle?
Like this or like this?
So that's a very green sash question. So we have a wide range of skill here. So we start out by saying form a circle with the hands. As you get trained more, you understand that it's really not a circle. It's a technique, and it's what's called ward off. So for you, think about your ward off. Yeah. So right, I've got my embracing horse hands separated a little bit. When you're first starting out, this is okay. Then you'll understand conceptually it's not quite that. So remember, if I'm in a beginner class, I'm going to describe it beginner-wise, but that's an excellent question. So green sash, ward off.
Well, I'm facing that way, so I couldn't see.
I know. I mean, if you were really spidey sensed, you could like watch my reflection in the window, but you know, I'm not gonna do that to you. But it's a rounded sense. But going back to your neck hung, if this is my embracing horse hands, and I do that morphing thing that we talked about, there's your answer, right? All right. So let's see. Let's try it a couple more times, and then I'm gonna walk you through it and see if I can watch you guys. So step left. Feel those feet. Commencement. Take your time. Very important. Shift the weight to that left foot so that the right foot is freed up. You can turn. Form a circle with the hands. Right hand on top. Shift your weight to your back leg, Miss Payne. There you go. Very good. We're going to talk about this in just a second, but there you go. good. Release. So, I'm the queen of knee patrol. I'm your knee steward as a repeat orthopedic surgery survivor. That rounded out sensation that you get in Neikong carries through all the way through your form. Tai Chi is excellent for knees unless you do it wrong, and then it's really, really bad for knees, okay? So that's my job. So again, I don't like to overcorrect. So if you kind of feel like, why am I doing it okay? You're probably doing it fine. Rest assured, if I see something that looks like it's going to be injurious to you, I'm going to fix it right away. But that being said, watch my knees here. So, and I'll do the right way, and then I'll try to show like some not so right ways. All right, so sink down, step left. So notice here, I'm not out here, but I'm also not here. I'm thinking a rounded idea. And the knees come up and down. This is the correct way. Notice this knee stays out. It's nice and out. What you don't want is this. Good. Not good. That just to look terrible to anybody watching it. Look at what it's doing to my ankle, look what it's doing to my knee. There's nothing good happening with this alignment. It may not hurt you immediately. If you continue to do it that way, it is totally going to hurt you. So that rounded out is very important. So that the standing leg is going to be crucial in all of your moves, which is why working on just a move or two is completely good when you're first starting, because it's very easy to forget all of these moving parts. And you're like, oh, I got 5 moves. And you're shredding your knees through all 5 of them. So again, watch the knees. And sink down, step left. Stay rounded out. Commencement. Ward off right. Stays out. Notice I stay on this back leg, and it stays rounded out. It's nice and bent. This feels weird. I lose my tuck. So try to bend that leg a little bit. Any questions about that so far? All right, let's do it. Let's try it a few more times. And then we'll slowly start to add on that ward off left. And step left. Commencement. Ward off right. So shift to the left. Turn to the right, pivoting on the right heel. Be mindful of that knee. Good. And then from here, we're just going to do part of the next move. Shift into the right foot and release the left heel. Great. Let's do that again. Start from, we've done it. We're basically doing commencement. So, arms up and down. And ward off right, shift to the left, so my right foot is free. Keep the knee out, turn to the right. Good. Now, there's a transition here, so shift to the right, release the left heel. I'm going to add one more thing. Sink down, step in. Then you're balanced. Excellent. One more time just like that. Commencement. Ward off right. Good. And shift to the right, release the left heel, sink down, step in. Good. One more time just like that, and then we'll add on the last bit of that move. Step left. Commencement. Ward off right. Shift to the right, release the left heel, sink down, step in. This one's going to feel a little weird. You're going to step back a little bit and towards the front of the ring a little bit. So step back, heel, toe. And then you're going to shift to the left, turn to the left, turn the right toes in. Yep, you got it. In a perfect world, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with your feet shoulder width apart in that little short walking lunge. So that's pretty good. Yep. Release. Let's do that one more time, and then I'll demonstrate that for you and answer any questions. And step left. Commencement. Remember, focus on the feet. Ward off right. All that weight's on your left foot. Knee nice and rounded. And then for ward off left, shift to the right, release the left heel, sink down, step in, step back, heel, toe. Shift to the left, turn to the left, turn the right toes in. Good, good. Release. All right, we'll demonstrate. Everybody looks really good through here. Excellent work. And up. This looks really good. And this looks really good. So I'm going to shift, keeping this knee out now. Don't let this one wiggle. So this one is now the out knee. Sink down, step in, step back, heel, toe. Shift to the left, turn to the left, turn the right toes in. So my hands are basically going to go from here to here. But again, it's more about the feet. Let's see. And one other thing I'd like to mention is you can copy other people to kind of get an idea of what the next move is. What won't work is copying exactly where their foot goes, because no two people are going to step in exactly the same spot, because we've all got different leg lengths, different stances, strides, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of feeling that goes into learning Tai Chi. So just know where you're headed, or what you're trying to tell your brain to get comfortable with identifying is how far back do I need to step and how far out do I need to step, so that I end up in what we call double dragon's foot placement. If you remember a little bit from Nei Kung, we had that double dragon's leap from C. This is where that comes from. Does that all make sense? Any questions about these moves so far? Yes, sir.
When we're doing the ward off left, the right hand's position is down or is it rounded?
Ah, it's down.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, it's here, here, here.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Good question. Any other questions? No? Well, let's run it from the very beginning. 2 times. And step left. Commencement. Ward off left. Oh, I'm sorry, ward off right. This one, do this way. And now ward off left. So sink down, step in, step back and out a little bit. Here's ward off left. Very good. Both here. I'm going to just switch this. And this you're fine, you're fine. This will be like this, and this will be like this. Oh. So this is correct for the first one. Then this one's going to go down, and this one's going to come up. And then turn the palm down. There you go.
Does it matter where your hands are at?
It does, but don't worry about it just yet. Release everybody. So, they do change. With practice and exposure to it, you'll realize there's kind of some greatest hits of hand placement. And one of the greatest hits is there will be a hand kind of down by your side, palm down, sort of like you're patting a really tall dog on the head. This happens a lot. And this is the first time that happens. So in here, you could argue that they're both doing that right here. And then here, making my rounded out, and then this hand will switch to be high, and then this hand goes back to that position. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. But again, feet. These will naturally come and make sense once your feet have a good sense of what they're doing. But the good news is not every single move in Tai Chi is a completely different hand placement. There's a lot of repetition. So I don't want you to like, there's 108 different places that my hands go. No. Question?
No, I was just trying to, this is just moving, you really don't have to move the hands a lot, because this hand is just gonna come, when you move to the left, it's just gonna kind of.
They basically switch positions. So this
Right.
one's high, this one's low, this one goes high, and this one goes low.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's
questions before we bow out of basic training? Good work, everybody. Let's go ahead and bow out. We follow the 5 hearts: faith, respect, perseverance, patience, and humility.
On ahead instructor?
Bow to intermediate and newcomer students at home. Basic training is dismissed. Good job, everybody. So get a quick drink of water, come back out. We're going to do low to no contact, safe distance applications. We're gonna see what that looks like in a safe universe. And then if you want to come with me to the office, I can go over some stuff with you. So come on. I'll be right out. Oh,
I just got first chiropractic adjustment yesterday, so my body's like,
I'll be out in just a couple of minutes. If you beat me out here, just think about ward off that first, that ward off right, ward off left. The 2 moves that we just did, those are the applications we're gonna look at.
We can take the flute and tape a striker on it.
Yeah, that's what, senior head instructor Hunter was doing last night with the long staff.
Yeah.
He was teaching them the twirl it, and he's got the other one out, he was jabbing it at them, and they're getting away. But that's like 6 feet away.
But I'm saying that, you know, we can do well, the punching above, boxing above.
See? Well, let's come back out into the mat. I told Mrs. Durkin I would help get you started on the next part.
Okay, great.
Did she happen to mention the black sash training?
She said they're gonna do non-contact, contact, something.
Okay, good. That was my suggestion to her, and I didn't know she.
I'm not sure what that means.
So if we do an application, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna use our imagination instead of a partner. Yes, obviously y'all could be partners, but for these purposes today, let's use our imagination. So the first move you worked on today was grasp the bird's tail. Okay, the opening move. Can I see that real quick? Just start at the beginning, go ahead and do commencement, step left, commencement and everything. Just wanna see what y'all are doing.
And so the focus.
Yes, that's as far as I wanted to see. That's what I understood you were covering today.
This is what we covered today.
Right, I got that, yeah. I just wanted to see you do it. Okay, cool. So, now, when you do it, let's look at the first principle of Tai Chi. Why is Tai Chi powerful as a martial art? It's a rhetorical question, unless you really know the answer. It's powerful as a martial art because it presumes that you are weaker than the opponent. So, if you are weaker than the opponent, how do you proceed? So one way is you do not use force against force, right? So you have to assume you are not as strong as the person punching, therefore you can't. When we practice push hands, this is where we get to actually learn this principle. Okay, so when we return from COVID, we do a master's path class on Fridays, push hands. Okay, most people hate push hands, mostly because they suck at it for a very long time. It's like a lot of things. If you start doing some sparring, you may not like it. People are hitting you, they're getting close to you, you're not good at it, okay? So the same is with push hands. You're not good at it, and if you are weaker, you don't understand how you could possibly get better against the stronger students, okay? Well, that's a conversation for another time, but it does bridge to learning applications. So in Little Dragons, they learn the best block is what? It's called the don't be there block, okay? So it's evading. So we have a form of evading, and then we have things called sticking, and we'll worry about that later. So evading. So you have to imagine that I'm hauling off to throw an aggressive, full body weight punch at you like that. Okay, just like maybe an untrained, full weight body punch, and it's coming at your face. Okay, so we are going to get our face out of the way. Okay, that's the first and most important thing. The second thing is to bring the hand up. Your mind will do the opposite. In the future, it will be important that your hand come up first, but your hand isn't the thing blocking it. You didn't block it. You got out of the way and touched it without moving it. So we have to think of, in training purposes right now, we have to imagine getting out of the way. So imagine I'm doing this, yep, and then you're gonna take a little step left and turn, right? So it's like, did you ever see Spider-Man?
First one.
You know, there's so many versions. But you know, the one where he fights the kid in the hallway and everything slows down. And so the bully's punching him straight at his face and he's like slow motion, he like looks cross-eyed at the punch like, what is that? You know, so you have to kind of think about it. The first thing is get out of the way. So you're here, and if you need to step, you need to step. I mean, you have to respond to that punch, not to the rules of how the form was taught to you. Because that's just to pass the form along over time, so each generation can keep learning, okay? It is like the alphabet. Now you need to learn to spell and make words and sentences, okay? So the alphabet is strict. It's A, B, C, D. It's not A, B, E, D, right? It has an order to it. So your form has a way you're supposed to do it. Then you use that, you use those letters in words and form sentences based on who's talking to you, okay, or who's punching at you. So now imagine, who has a good imagination? Okay, okay, good. So imagine the punch, and it's gonna be a right punch. It's gonna be like just an aggressive, angry, out of control punch, just like in Spider-Man, and you step, and you turn, and you look cross-eyed at it like you're in the Spider-Man movie. And then as a secondary thought, you bring the hand up. You're like, oh, whew, okay, because maybe you will do something with it, we don't know, okay? So, take a look at it, take a step, bring the hand up, boom. Yes, that's it, bring it up, okay? And at the end of it, go ahead and shift over like you know the form does. And when the hand comes up and you turn and you shift over, you're gonna feel some of that rotation in your hand too, that goes with it. Yes. And don't forget the pivot, just like now we go back to our ABCs, you stepped, you shifted, you turned, you brought the hand up, and then as you shifted to the right, you can rotate that hand over. Okay, and you remember, when you learn the 8 energies, ward off, that's that move ward off. Everyone in this group, green and above would already know this. This is also a black sash training meant for beginners. So ward off has a image, and its image is, anyone? It's sky.
That's right.
Its image is sky. You have it you have it as your face mask. You could just turn it around and look at it. Okay. So its image is sky. Sky has clouds in it. Cloud hands is made up of a bunch of ward offs. Okay, so it's sky, 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 sky. Well, we aren't on cloud hands yet, but we have a cloud hands feeling in our arm. Is we've taken our step, we've shifted and brought the hand up, and we turn and we've connected, and then as we shift, that hand turns over, like the cloud hands. Okay? We've been using our imagination. Take a look at them.
Oh, I see.
Ready? Imagine an aggressive, untrained punch is coming forward at you, and you get out of the way, and you turn, and there.
Yeah.
Okay? Please go ahead, it's okay. And then now use your own imagination and try it on your own. So we just talked about the best block not be there.
Oh, well, don't shift your weight into your front leg though.
Oh no, we did do that.
Oh, you did shift
Yeah,
your
yeah,
front leg,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So let's do it together so she knows.
So I can, yes, sorry,
So-
speaking of.
Okay, so here comes that aggressive punch. We get out of the way. We Spider-Man movie, look at it without the hand first. Then we bring the hand up, and then we go ahead and shift and
Oh,
rotate it.
yes.
So we add a little extra.
Yes.
So in the long run, yes, it would be important the hand come up right away. But in the short run, if we really want our body to move out of the way, then we're gonna have to pretend we don't have our hands. And what are we assuming when we use applications in Tai Chi?
They're stronger than we are.
They're stronger than you are, yeah. And I'll finish with this, and then I'll turn things back over to head instructor. I've had a couple students that came to my Friday push hands class over the years. The best ones ever were over 80 years old, okay? And one was a male, one was a female. One was Bernie Zemmel, he passed away many years ago. He was the student who was at that age, you know, when I had my school 18 years ago. Engineering professor at UT. And I said, how are you so good at this? He said, well, if I fall, I'm gonna break my bones. And so he can't be more tense and more aggressive because instinctually he knows that's going to create a lever and he's going to hit the ground. And Miss Campbell, who also passed away a couple years ago, she was my best Friday push hands practitioner. Weighed probably 90 pounds, wet, and you would wonder, the only time you could ever get her in push hands, meaning causing her to lose her balance, is if she decided to push me. If she tried to push me, then I had something that I could redirect her on. But I couldn't lay a hand on her because she found the way out of everything. Anything I tried to push on her, she made into water. Yeah, very interesting. And I said, she didn't get any training to do that. She showed up to the class, got the basics, and then was able to do it. Why? Same thing. She's over 80 years old. She says, I can't fall on the ground. So you would think being more tense would prevent her from falling on the ground. No, she weighs 90 pounds. All of us could pick her up and throw her on the ground. She had to yield. She had to yield. So that's the first thing, is on all those moves, is to do that. I also talked about the forming the ABCs, so it doesn't have to strictly be exactly the same for applications, because now you're having a conversation.
Ah, yeah, I like that conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so, let me see it again. I like this Spider-Man. All right, so imagine, you guys have good imaginations, that really belligerent jerk is just coming full force at your face with a very deep right punch. What are you gonna do? Yes, yes, and very good. Yes. Yay. All right, so, this, bear with us, it's a little bit of an experiment here with COVID times. I know you guys share your own bubble, so if you guys do the application, I'm not gonna be like, don't touch each other. But for everyone else, it's just up to your own discretion. Obviously trying not to breathe in anybody's face, maybe not do a lot of contact. I'll work with you, Ms. West, and we'll be socially distant. But with kind of in a pantomime way, try it a little bit as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, if I may use Mr. Watkins, so not gonna touch you. I'm not gonna hurt you, because we're not gonna touch you. But I just kind of want to show the camera how this can be done in a quasi-safe distance way. So it's a little bit different, you're imagining, but I'm actually going to give you something. So, wah, and then where the hand would go, you would just, yep. So, whoops. Yes. You see kind of how we can do this where we're not breathing in each other's faces and spaces? Yeah. And it's a right punch. I'll have you gentlemen work together, because you kind of have your lunch bubble, I think, right?
Yes.
So, okay.
Our lunch bubble.
Your lunch bubble, and then we will go, I will not do
You
that.
want to punch your,
So. So, do you have a good sense of how this works? All right, so go nice and slow. Yes. Still a little bit gentle. So for you, a little bit more of that rock back, just a little bit more, so that, like, literally don't let it get to your face. That's your jaw. Don't let this get to your face. Okay. Yes. So, like, if you just tell yourself what to do, don't let it get to your face will naturally get out of the way. Make sense? And protect your knees and don't let it hit your face. Yes, very good.
Because I gotta run away.
Me and my walker gotta run. We gotta roll away.
I don't
Stop it.
remember that.
But to me, that's the thing that helps things, like, what about, because you can get bogged down in hands, okay, don't let it hit your face. Right? I gotta escape. Don't hit my face, and let them just keep going that way. Okay. One more time. Yes. Excellent, very good. Check everybody else. Yes. Don't push down. Don't push down. That's, we're gonna ting.
Ting.
So, one thing that, before we get on to the second part of this application, which we probably won't get to today, but we'll pick it up on Thursday, because we started a little late, we'll go over, but resist the urge to push down on that. That's a natural thing. If you find yourself doing it, do not beat yourself up. It happens. But then resist it. So it's here without pushing down on them. Because what am I gonna do next? Here, here, you know, and then you're gonna ward off this way. So all I'm trying to do is, I was telling Ms. West, I'm just trying to get my face out of the way of this punch.
Right.
While, as she commented correctly, while protecting my knees. So I'm like, you know, so the big punch is coming here, and this is a lot to think about. Get your face out of the way of that punch.
That also prevent that from coming back at you. You've got the hand up.
Absolutely, this just checks them, and it keeps them from getting in my space.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, just like with clown hands, they're gonna throw a punch, and they're just gonna keep going that way, because they put a lot of effort into punching me, and all of a sudden, I gave them a trap door, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They make a little contact here, which tricks their brain into thinking they've made contact, but they haven't. Their momentum is going to carry them that way. What we're gonna add on next time is, as they're going that way, we use their momentum to make a block into the side of the body. That's what that ward off left is.
Oh,
Does that make sense? So it's, don't get hit, which is why I wouldn't push down here. There's a little grab, and then you turn the waist and you strike into the ribs.
if you push the arm down, you'd be closing off that area, wouldn't you?
Correct. And you're using your body strength, your arm strength, not your body strength.
Well, wouldn't that throw you off balance to where you're more vulnerable to be attacked?
It can absolutely do that, but also, it's just, if we're trying to assume that they're stronger than we are, why would I want just my arm to be trying to push down on their arm, when really I'm just like, get out of my way. Does that make sense? All right, new life skill, it's leopard. Let's do the leopard. You guys are gonna be pros at this because it doesn't stand on one leg.
I just got used to that one.
You will see it again and again.
Yeah.
All right, so the path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles. You got it. Path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles. Path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles. From the camera. So it's here, path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. So basically a leopard paw is take your hands and then crunch all your fingers and put your index finger up. So it isn't just like I'm holding up a number one, it's a claw with an up finger. And what this is used for, it's typically like a palm strike type technique. So you don't want a limp hand. Tiger claw is a grab, this is a striking hand. So path of self-mastery requires a focused mind, and it's a focused mind, and then you're gonna step out to a bow stance and push out with this hand, sees no obstacles. So path of self-mastery requires a focused mind sees no obstacles.
What do you call that stance?
That's a bow stance, B-O. So it's more of a kung fu type stance. It's narrower, it's not tightrope, but it's narrower than double dragons, and it's longer. So it's a very common martial arts pose. Alrighty, let's bow out.
Head instructor?
About to intermediate level students and students at home, Full Access training is dismissed. Good job, everybody. Master staff, get a drink, come out. We're gonna work on probably Pat High Horse and thinking about some, maybe some kicks.
Did you get a chance to ask about riding a wild horse? We were.
Oh, the jockey, no, I didn't get a chance,
Okay.
but I will do that. Thank you for reminding me. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Master.
I will be right out.
Have a nice day.
Yourself.
That is two swords. I wasn't sure, I was looking at it, it's like that.
See you Thursday. Thank you. How do you like the mirrors?
I love them.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I see that you went with the black that Paul suggested.
yeah.
Let me say that.
I had a little bit of trouble last night.
Oh, good.
Found myself getting
Yeah,
a little too
good.
close, thinking there was a lot of room.
Yeah, you don't do that.
I know.
You're welcome. I'm glad you,
That's why I asked that question, so it's feelings.
good.
So,
Yeah,
thank you.
You're very welcome. So obviously, as a beginner class, I want to focus to make sure that brand new students get what they need in a non-overwhelming way, but I also, it's my hope is that I can provide something for students with more experience so that, oh, I can think on that too. So
Well,
thank you
I'm
for that.
looking forward to this, just to try and figure out how to refine it, do it better.
Excellent.
Do it lower, step in the
I'm
right,
just happy
do it
to-
slow.
I'm just happy to be back.
I'm glad to see you, it's good to have you back.
Back is good.
Okay, so we have been working on cloud hands, how to get in and out of cloud hands. We're gonna continue in intermediate advanced class with the second section. The next move up is high pat on horse or pat high horse. And then we get into the kicks. How far did the senior instructor get in class yesterday? Were you there?
Yes, we didn't get into the kicks, but we got to pat the high horse, and he said, okay, we're gonna continue, the rest of you guys try and keep up. We're
Okay.
going, "Ah."
Okay, all right, so what I would like to do now is I'm gonna break from sequence just a little bit. And I wanna talk about the two types of kicks that happen coming up in the rest of this section. So it's kick, kick, kick with some moves you know and some transitions, but kick, 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 kick. And there's two kinds. And so I'd like to just kind of expose you to how those two kicks are constructed. So there's two kinds. One of them is called the separates, separate right and left. And then there's heel kicks. We break them into we call it the minor kicking section and the major kicking section. If you Google that, you will not find anything. That's just our internal way of organizing them. So the separate kicks, just loosely, are instep kicks. Like imagine like kicking a groin or a paddle up here or trying to kick a soccer ball into a goal, okay? Those are the separates. The heel kicks are gonna be just what they sound like, a heel kick. And they are gonna be like I'm trying to kick through a door. Like if I need to kick it open because I'm locked out or there's something that I need to break in, bam, that's the heel kick, correct. So they're two different things that we're trying to do. And they're wired a little bit differently. Well, they're wired a lot differently. So the first one I'm just gonna start here, but let's not worry about it. I'm gonna face the camera here. So try it with me, kind of get on the sides of me. We're gonna get from pat high horse. And again, this is just a walk in the park. This is not for proficiency. This is just to kind of get you comfortable with it. And I'm doing it facing the camera, so if you're watching from home, you're not behind me, that's not super helpful. But it is meaning it's gonna be flipped for you, so perhaps observing it might be easier for you. So let's get into pat high horse from single whip. We'll settle in single whip. And for pat high horse, you're gonna step up halfway, put the weight on the back foot, switch the hands, turn the waist, and you're here. Does everybody feel kind of okay with that? All right, so just bear with me. We're gonna walk through separate right foot. You're gonna step out at an angle, heel toe. Shift to that left, circle the arms down, and notice naturally my heel has come up here. It just naturally does when I shift my weight. And I'm gonna bring that foot up to here, and my arms are gonna make an X with my left hand closest to me. Let's try that again from pat high horse. So we are here. And so I'm gonna step out a little bit, shift, lower the hands, release the right heel, step up, make an X. Now, I don't expect you to necessarily remember this. In this one, the hands don't cross. They stay in their own little swimming lanes. So don't do this. That comes later. The separates, these stay separate. Okay? There we go. So, here, okay, now, I'm gonna lower the hands, and I'm gonna open the hands. And then I'm gonna keep my weight on my back foot. These hands are gonna come out. This one's gonna be higher than this one. And as I feel myself kind of want to tip back a little bit, this foot should naturally come up a little bit to counterbalance. And then we'll talk about this, but I put it down at an angle and I close my hands. Okay, so that was the first limp through of this, but I wanted to kind of talk about some of the greatest hits of how it works. So there is upper follows lower a lot in this, just like every other Tai Chi move, but a lot in this one. So if you can think of this move in terms of weight and upper follows lower, I think it'll help. So here I am. and then I step, and I shift my weight, which is what causes these arms to rotate down, which is what lifts this heel up, and they come up to here. Now I lower, and I open, and as this hand comes up and this hand comes down, I've got more pressure on this standing leg, and then the foot naturally should sort of slip out. Yep, release. When you're learning this, of course, at the beginning, it's going to need your hip flexors to lift your leg. Where it goes, when it gets wired in, it almost feels like it's a reactive thing. Like don't imagine too literally, but like you got a banana peel on the floor and it slips out from under you. So it's more of a cat whipping its tail kind of, yes, than it is like I use these muscles and lift my leg. That's not, you have to fake it a little bit when you're learning it, but that's not the end game. The end game is I'm loaded up here and I'm relaxed but connected. So this leg naturally kicks up as a result of this hand. Does that make sense in theory? Let's try it a couple times. So, pat high horse. So I'm going to step out, I'm going to lower the hands, and I'm going to step up and my hands are in an X. But right now it's just broad brush strokes. I'm not expecting everybody to get all of that stuff. Lower the hands, open the hands. So this hand's higher and this hand's lower. That is important. And as I shift more weight onto this leg, at some point it's going to feel like I'm going to tip back. Don't let yourself tip back. Lift that leg up instead as a counterbalance. To get out of it, just so you know, you're going to step wide, shift into it, and we call it close the door. So this hand goes to here. Yeah? Yeah. So, any questions? I know that's a whole lot. Questions so far? Okay. So just think counterbalance connected leg. Like you don't want to lean back, and so you sink, and this leg kind of creates your counterbalance, right? Does that make sense in theory? Yes. Yes. Now just to contrast that, let's do a heel kick so you can feel how different that is. So we're going to stand feet together, and in this one, your hands do cross over. And it doesn't matter which one goes over which. I usually do right over left. It's not a huge deal. And so, we're going to kick with the right. So, I'm going to make all my weight shifts into this left leg. And first thing that happens is I lead with the wrists. And imagine that you have sort of like a string that as these arms come, the wrists come up, it lifts the knee up. For balance, the arms come out first, and then I kick with the leg. Then I bring it back in, set it down, and fold the arms down. So there's a sequence to it. It isn't, whoa, I mean, we call it the cheerleader kick. It's not that. Things that will help you. Bend your legs. Upper body relaxed. Lead with the wrists. The wrists then attach, so to speak, with the knee. Then the arms open. Out here, not back here. This makes it harder. They're out here, then kick. Bring it back in, down, and wrists. You do not have to kick high. This is completely correct. That's totally correct. We would rather have the mechanics and balance there than we would kicking up. Like if any of you have C.K. Chu's Principles of Practice book, this is heel kick and his foot is like way up there, which I cannot do. But the way you get that is by doing all these, the balance and the thinking what your weight is and your head suspended and all that stuff with practice lower, and then you can get higher. And then you can get like Master Gohring, who's not up here. And then you can get C.K. Chu, who's not up here. So,
Let's not forget Mr. Hunter. Let's not forget Mr. Hunter.
Yeah. I mean, he could be on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
It's like a Mensa Kung Fu guy.
He is a Mensa Kung Fu guy. I'll just share him with that. That's fabulous. But so those are the two mechanics. We're obviously going to work continuously on those. We're also going to put them in sequence. There are two separates. There's a separate right foot and a separate left foot. And then heel kick, heel kick, heel kick. Just a bunch of heel kicks. but they are different, and it's very easy to kind of get the hands confused. So I want to at least expose to the differences. Any questions so far? Knowing that we will have a lot more practice?
Hands forward really helps.
The hands forward really, really does help. Absolutely. It's a very common thing for everyone to kind of end up with them back here, but really they're out here. And so, yeah, they're here. And also it separates. My hands are at different heights, but they're not out here. They're out in the front.
That hurts.
Yeah, if it hurts, don't do it. But think about your embracing horse even. So if I'm here and I'm morph, that's about how far out they are. I'm not doing the kick, but same thing. And then they're here. So all roads kind of lead back to this, your embracing horse arms. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll pick it up with this on Thursday. Email me any questions. Same thing for if you're at home. It's a little hard to teach applications and kicks that are very three-dimensional on a camera, but we will do our best, so just send us feedback. And with that, let's go ahead and bow out with master class.
All right, instructor.
Bound to intermediate level students and students at home, master staff training is dismissed. Good job, everybody. Good to see everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you on Thursday. I'm so glad you made it, Miss West.
Well, I talked to my doctor and he told me that people with asthma, you're getting a new prescription. He found there's a journal over 20. People asthma, they have a.
Well, first time I did
steroid
this,
medication.
I was
It does
almost falling every time. I'm feeling a difference this time.
protect.
And
And
this,
This is more of
I'm
a
reaching out
inner,
versus back.
more of a impact.
So
Yes.
I might exaggerate the
Absolutely.
reaching out.
And, you know, our HVAC system actually pulls in from outside, so even though our doors aren't open, it's pulling in.
And we saw, we went and saw Grandma's morning on Saturday.
Yeah.
So Will's back.
Good, yeah, I saw that on your Facebook post. I'm so glad to see you.
That's good seeing you too.
Yes.